Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Now, this month is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Now, colon cancer is cancer that occurs in the colon or the rectum, and is usually located in the lower end of the digestive tract or the large intestines. Commonly, men and women who are 50 years of age or older are diagnosed with this. And so if you're a man or a woman and you know something is not right with you in that area, go ahead and get checked out. This is a colon cancer awareness themed Comic Hero tee that I'm wearing. Now right here is the ribbon. Blue is the color for colon cancer awareness, and then right here it has check your colon. And I personally know some folks who have lost their battle with colon cancer. I've personally known some folks that have beaten colon cancer. And if you're watching this and you have colon cancer, you know someone who has colon cancer, you'll beat it. I just know it because, you know, it's just like I always say, adversity is temporary. I mean, sure, you may be going through something, but you may be battling colon cancer, but it's not going to last, and you will win. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, last episode I asked, what's the name of the alien cat that was in the Captain Marvel movie? Well, the correct answer is Goose. Now, in the comics, the cat, or should I say the Flarkin's name, is Chewie. Now, the reason why they changed the name to Goose in the movie is because, you know, this is what I believe. I think they did this because Disney owns both Marvel and Star Wars, and I guess the writers and Marvel didn't want to. They gave the name Goose because I guess they didn't want folks to think that don't know anything about Captain Marvel and think that was another version of Chewbacca. No, Chewbacca is a Wookiee. Goose is a Flarkin. But the correct answer is Goose. And 18 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is John Frederick from Monroe, Louisiana. So congratulations, John. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for the next episode. And this is also a Captain Marvel movie question. What was the store that Carol crash landed in after arriving on Earth in the movie? Now here's the hint. Throughout the country, this store is extinct except for one location in Bend, Oregon. Everyone who answers correctly been in a drawing for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. All right, now D'Angelo Ballou from Warren, Ohio has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this features two very big guys that wield very big hammers. Representing Marvel, we have Thor. And representing Mortal Kombat, we have Shao Kahn. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Thor versus Shao Kahn. Thor possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, and longevity. While Mjolnir possesses dimensional transportation, electric manipulation, flight, and weather manipulation. Shao Kahn is able to utilize superhuman strength, magic, and cloning.
He wields the powerful Wrath Hammer, which can send opponents flying with one strike. Who will win? I think we know how this one's going to start off. Hammers, hammers, and hammers. The two would knock hammers for minutes on end, until Shao Kahn teleports behind Thor and attempts to deliver a cheap shot. Thor, thanks to his super speed, blocks the attack and clobbers Kahn with Mjolnir. Kahn then transforms into an exact duplicate of Odin. Thor says, "Nice try, but you're not my father." Kahn as Odin replies, "Of course, boy. Can you not tell?" Thor replies, "If you really are, then hold my hammer." Thor hands Mjolnir to the imposter, and he drops to the ground. Lightning then strikes Kahn, and he converts back to his regular form. Thor then ends the fight by backhanding Kahn with his metal-clad left arm. Thor wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Shao Kahn may be a finisher, but you don't mess with the God of Thunder. I hope you enjoyed that fight, and I'll have another one for you next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are three things I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and the first one is Jonathan Hickman returning to Marvel. Now, he has been on books like Fantastic Four and Avengers, but for the first time ever, he's going to take on the Merry Mutants, the X-Men. And it's all going to start with two miniseries printing out later on this year called House of X and Power of X. And Marvel's been very tight-lipped about the details or what's going to happen in these miniseries or what Hickman has in store for the X-Men. But, you know what? I love Jonathan Hickman. He's a great writer. I can't wait to find out what he's going to do with the X-Men, because to me the X-Men over the past few years have been pretty much the Achilles heel of Marvel. Now, when I think of X-Men, now X-Men, you know, they're supposed to be the shining example of adversity being temporary, but it just seems like over the years they've done nothing but gone further and further down a hole. And they don't deserve that. I mean, they've been around for over 55 years. They deserve so much better. And I just hope Hickman can bring them to a bold, exciting new direction. But anyway, Jonathan Hickman takes on the X-Men later on this year for Marvel. All right, now the second thing. Now, I guess a lot of y'all have heard that the next season of Supernatural will be the last. Supernatural, you know, great TV show. Started coming on a little more than a decade ago. But I have some great news for any of y'all who are going to GeekCon later on this year. A cast member of the show is going to be a guest at GeekCon. And I'm talking about Samantha Smith, who plays the role of the mother on the show Mary Winchester. She's going to be a guest. I'm going to try to get an interview with her. I mean, I really liked her. I really like her character, and can't wait. All right, now the last thing we're going to talk about is Deadpool. Now, talking about the Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel has decided once and for all that they're not going to revamp Deadpool. And all I have to say is thank God. Because Ryan Reynolds has done, I mean, he's just flat out killed it with the first two Deadpool movies that have come out, and I can't wait for another one to come out. I mean, Reynolds, it was like he was born to play that role, and I've always considered Deadpool to be a perfect imperfection in the comics, and even even on the big screen. And Ryan Reynolds has brought it to life, and I just can't wait for more Deadpool movies. So with that in mind, they're gonna pick up where Deadpool 2 left off. Now, the reason why I said that is because Marvel recently bought out 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox is now a division. Is now a part of Disney. It's a division of Disney now, and they've also gotten the rights to the X-Men and Fantastic Four, and they also end up getting the rights to Deadpool as well. But they're going to revamp the X-Men and then Fantastic Four, but they will not revamp Deadpool, and rightfully so. So, Ryan Reynolds, great actor. Love what you do with Deadpool. Excuse me, I said Deadpool. Just keep on keeping on. We can't wait to see you in a third Deadpool movie, and hopefully in cameos of Marvel movies to come. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now it's time for the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Batman number 67. Wonder Woman number 66. The Flash number 66. Superman number 9. Uncanny X-Men number 14. Teen Titans number 28. Justice League number 20. And finally, Avengers number 17. Alright, that's 8, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 9,232. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. What was the store that Carol crash landed in the Captain Marvel movie? Now, the hint is that everywhere else in the U.S., it's non-existent. The only location is now in Bend, Oregon. Everyone who answers correctly been entered in the drawing for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to John Frederick from Monroe, Louisiana, who won a free tee in this week's episode. Alright, road ahead for the show next week is going to be a Batman-themed episode. And you're probably wondering why. Because a few days after I do this episode, I'm going to buy a copy of the 1000th issue of Detective Comics. And, of course, that's where Detective Comics is the book where Batman made his debut. He made his debut back in number 27 in 1940. And, Batman is, world's greatest detective. And, this episode is going to be all Batman. Although, I will buy some other books other than the 1000th issue of Detective Comics, but what you're going to see here on this desk is nothing but Batman. And, again, I want to give anyone who's battling colon cancer a bit of hope, because it may seem like there's no end in sight. It may seem like it's going to defeat you. No, it's not going to defeat you. You don't let cancer determine your life. stand up to cancer. Because I can guarantee you, if you stand up to cancer, you will win. And it's not just colon cancer, it's not just breast cancer, it's not just cancer, it can be any form of adversity. It's not so much that we go through adversity, it only matters how we face it. So if you have colon cancer and you face it head on, you're gonna beat it. I guarantee it. Oh, by the way, didn't get a chance to do an episode of the Comic Hero Show over at Louisiana Comic Con. They wouldn't let me bring my tripod in, and I didn't really know anyone that I could trust to man the camcorder for me. So I apologize, and but hopefully one day I'll be able to do episodes at Louisiana Comic Con. Hopefully I'll be able to do an episode over at GeekCon later on this year. Alright, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 249. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!